Governments or powerful secret organisations allegedly embed subtle references to major events like 9/11 in popular culture as a way to desensitise or psychologically prepare society for these events before they happen.
Why?
Yeah, I thought that. Why would you do that?
Because wasn't everyone shocked when it happened?
Yeah.
Were they not as shocked as they would have been?
Yeah, you would have been more
Because they said
shocked had it not been for the Rugrats. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've heard of this somewhere.
Angelica's blurted it out.
Yeah.
Hello! Welcome to Believe, the Conspiracy Theory podcast. I'm Phil Green.
And I'm David Ferguson.
And this is a podcast all about the world's craziest conspiracy theories. Although today, I feel like you don't think this is that crazy.
No, I just think this is the obvious truth.
David likes to believe, I very much like to cynic. And in each episode, we bring on a fellow comedian. That comedian has picked a conspiracy theory they want to talk about. It might be a conspiracy theory they believe. It might be a conspiracy theory they don't believe. Or it might just be a conspiracy theory they heard a long time ago. It has bugged them their whole life. They need to somehow make sense of it. They want to be brought into this dark little studio, put in a chair, have facts and fiction read out to them, and then make a decision as to whether it's true or not, don't they?
And we are the heroes.
We are the heroes
that can
that
help
make
with
that happen. We do let them out at the end, unlike George, our tech, who is here today.
He is the wonderful George.
Wonderful George on the buttons. And later on this year and early next year, we are going to be doing some live podcast shows. And we would love you to come along, be in the audience. Where can people find the link for tickets for that?
If you could look in the show notes, you'll see all the links for our live shows and everything that we're doing. So follow us there.
And they will have an amazing time, won't they?
Oh my gosh, yes. The live shows are so much fun. And you get to see, well, I get to be really unhinged and you get to see Phil go, David, calm down.
Yeah. That's true. There may be a pause for medication. Anyway, where can people follow us online?
Well, we are on TikTok, YouTube and Instagram, and you can follow us on Believe Conspiracy Pod.
That's right, that's a handle. Go on there. It's where we post up videos and pictures, content related to the conspiracies that we've been talking about, exclusive reels. It's where we would like you to tell us what you think about those conspiracy theories. Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? Have you got an opinion on it? Have you heard something about it that we haven't heard? Let us know. We want to know those kind of things. And also, if you have a conspiracy theory that we haven't covered that you would like us to cover, they can get in contact. How would they do that?
Oh my gosh, through the magic of email. Our email handle is believeconspiracypod@gmail.com.
Yes, send us an email, let us know. We'll add that conspiracy to the list and we will find someone who wants to talk about that conspiracy theory. We will solve the problem for you.
Yes.
Well, we probably won't because we've never actually done that, but we will definitely talk about it.
Yeah, we're just comedians.
We're just comedians. That's the limit of our power. Now, if you like this podcast and you really like it, if you could go on to Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and give us a little 5-star review, we would be eternally grateful. It is completely free of charge to you, but it helps us enormously. And it also means that we can carry on doing this podcast. We know the love is out there for it.
Yeah, because we need the validation. So if you give us like 5 stars, a nice little review, it would be amazing.
It would be 5 stars.
5 stars.
Now, who is today's fabulous guest?
It is a man who I thought was a football manager, a true gentleman, the great Bilal Zafar.
Great Bilal Zafar. Bilal is a stand-up comedian, actor and writer. He's won Hackney Empire's New Act of the Year. He has taken multiple solo shows to the Edinburgh Festival. And in his first year of doing so, he was nominated for the Best Newcomer Award with a brilliant show, which I watched over the weekend. He has toured around the UK, including runs at London Soho Theatre. He is a Twitch sensation with his football manager character, as you just talks about, which is, if you've never checked it out, you should do. And he also co-hosts his own podcast, Got a Problem, Mate. Now, what is the conspiracy that Bilal has chosen?
Well, this is one of the huge conspiracy theories. The conspiracy theory that Bilal has chosen is the 9/11 premonitions.
The 9/11 premonitions.
They knew it was going to happen.
This is a big one. Let's bring on Bilal.
Get out of the rabbit hole.
It's a fake. Every single bird in the sky is a robot.
It's fiction.
Doubt your government.
It's an urban legend.
Like if they're actually spraying something in the sky.
No way.
A stream of absurdity.
It's a total fabrication.
Welcome to the podcast, Bilal Zafar!
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Unusually, you're a guest that's listened to the podcast, which is very important to us.
Yeah, it's rude when people don't do that.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listened to an episode of your podcast this week.
Thank you.
That's okay, man.
Please.
I didn't, and I feel really guilty about that now.
Well, there's time now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Put it-
crack
put
on.
it on.
I do have my phone out, which is unusual because there's so much.
What's the quickest speed you can do on YouTube?
2 double speed.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it
On,
went faster.
on YouTube.
On YouTube, because I watch a lot of stuff and like.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I find it really like zones me out. It's really fun.
Really? I've never actually done that. Have you done that?
Yeah.
No, not on YouTube. I listen to some podcasts on double speed, not this one, but
Why?
you listen to us on double speed. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's quicker.
To cram it.
Then you could do more. You could do more podcasts, can't you?
Yeah.
On a journey to work, I could get through 2 podcasts rather than just one.
But what's wrong with getting through one?
Nothing.
Don't you want to enjoy them?
There's loads of them.
Yeah,
You know
there's
this.
too much.
You produce
there's
content,
too
yeah,
many.
too much. Yeah.
Well, I listened to R1 back
Oh yeah.
at double speed because I don't want to hear my own voice.
You're hearing
It
it.
sounds so gay. It's just so annoying.
I've said this. You're still listening to your own voice.
But it's sped up, so it sounds like I'm listening to a cartoon character. And it sounds like a cartoon character that's doing your voice, not you. So it feels all new and shiny to me.
Do you listen to your pod back?
Not really. Occasionally a little bit.
Okay.
But I can't be bothered.
Okay.
Is that bad?
No, I guess not. I mean, I have to because I edit this, so I have
Yes.
to. So
You should listen.
I should, yeah.
And I have to because I'm an egotist.
Yeah.
Have you done editing for your podcast?
Not for my one.
Okay.
No, luckily someone else does it.
Okay,
Because I
good.
know how much work it is.
It is a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah. Do you edit the video as well?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
It is time consuming.
It
It's the
is.
problem with doing this stuff. It takes fucking ages, doesn't it?
It really does.
We should do
And then you got to do your reels
Yeah,
and your TikTok.
yeah,
Otherwise, you won't ever get any work.
yeah.
It's awful now,
That is
isn't
what
it?
you have to do.
Awful.
That's the game.
We grew up watching films,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That way, and now you got to do everything portrait mode. It looks stupid.
I agree.
Yeah, we got into this at the wrong time, didn't we? It
Yeah.
was so much easier 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You've had to create an entire new persona
Yeah.
online.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's like outdated now.
What your football manager do?
Well, I got to do more. I still don't have. So for people that don't know, I did a thing on Twitch over lockdown where I was a football manager character.
Yeah.
Which I still do sometimes, but in Twitch it was massive because everyone was at home and football was all.
Was that the
paused
point
as
at which
well.
Twitch was taking off at that point? Did you hit it at the right time, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think if you did anything in lockdown,
Yeah.
it was always going to do a lot better. And I just came up with a good idea. I was just very lucky because I played a retro football game, Pro Evolution Soccer 5, which
Yeah.
a lot of people love anyway.
Yeah.
And I wore the top half of a suit and I was the manager of the team.
What were you wearing the bottom half?
Shorts sometimes,
Okay.
man, or just boxers because it was
Wow.
very hot where I lived
Yeah,
at
man.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intense. But you still do that character sometimes?
Yeah, occasionally. But
Okay.
it's different now because it's like obviously not as many people are at home.
Yeah.
Not as many people can watch live. So you make a lot less money off it.
Uh,
So it's very different.
Can
Yeah.
you chunk it up and put it on social media? Was it not really doable with that?
I do, and I could definitely put more effort in. But it's quite a weird thing. It's very niche.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very silly. It's its own stupid world, which is the sort of thing I like, but it's not the sort of thing the general public likes.
And does that translate to like people coming to your shows? Do you get like people who follow Football Manager character come into your shows
Yes.
when you're being you?
Yeah, but not as much as I'd like.
Right,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very nice to have them. Like the thing is, you got to be massive online to be selling venues out. You got to be. I think it's got to be 100,000 followers on Instagram. I think
Is
I think.
that right?
From what I've seen from other comics that have managed to sell out tours off the back of online, I think 100,000.
Oh my God. I thought I wanted to be a comedian. That just seems like an awful lot of work.
It's not worth it. The actual stand-up doesn't matter now.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it? It's
all crowd
It's
work clips?
superfluous
Yeah.
to a career in comedy. Isn't
Did
it?
you see that guy? I haven't like read the article, but like there's some American comic I think who's getting in trouble, or I guess I don't know. People are annoyed at him because he's been faking his clips. He's been putting laughs in. I think there's no audience, and he's been doing fake crowd work. But I think good for
I've
him.
got
Good for
respect
him.
for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good for
Who
him.
cares?
Also, I doubt he's the only one.
No, probably not. But we should all do it.
Yeah, we should all do it.
Yeah.
Why not? That's a
I
fair
mean,
point.
it's a genre thing now, the crowd work. Like Phil Hanley has a crowd work special, and he's not the only comedian that has that. You know, it's definitely a thing, but you could set that all up, you know.
I haven't watched the crowd work special, have you?
Phil Hanley's is really good, but he came from a background of crowd work was actually his thing. He got his sets out of crowd work. Like,
I might do one, but I don't have anything to really say to them. Do you know what I mean? Like I just give them all one-word answers.
I went to see Jason Byrne in Edinburgh this year.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine really likes him, so he always comes up and we go every year to watch him. And all he does is crowd work, and he fills a 400-seater every single night for an entire run every single year. And people just go back because it's obviously a different show each time. Kind of, he kind of has the same traits that he does, but
Must be fun.
yeah, man, it's phenomenal. Like not having to write a show. Also, do you find the people that follow your character? Because I think if you're doing online content, if you're putting up clips of you doing stand-up, people will come along and they're going to get pretty much what they expect. But if people come along when they've seen like a character that you've done, when that's different to what you do as a stand-up, whether or not they, do you know what I mean? Like, then are they getting what they expect? I don't know.
People are very supportive and nice. I don't know if they like the stand-up as much. Do you know what I mean? Because it is very different to what they like.
Yeah, you're not polling them on the way out.
No, I should.
You should
right?
do, yeah.
But also, like, I don't know how to do that football manager character on stage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to just be a manager and have a projector and, you know?
Yeah, it needs something
be
more,
like a
doesn't it?
crap Al Murray kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
he needs a backstory. He needs a whole,
Yeah, so maybe one day I'll do that, but yeah, I don't know, man. Very scary doing anything that's not stand-up on stage, isn't it?
It's very true. It's very true. So conspiracy theories. Now, we chatted before the pod about this, because you are a bit into these, aren't you? In a kind of like observer way.
Oh,
Yeah.
One of us.
I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I found a YouTube channel. So basically, when I stream on Twitch, I sometimes find stuff to watch along, you know? I found this YouTube channel, who I won't be saying their name. I shouldn't promote them. But it's this weird British YouTube channel where they have all these like live talks that they film, and they have comedy sets from people, but they're not comedian. Like, there's one of them, like, I'll give you an example of the sort of thing, right? One of the guys started one of his bits with, so we all agree that Biden was killed and he's been replaced, right? And then he goes into his bit. That's the sort of stuff it is, which I didn't know they'd all agreed that.
And this isn't
I'm saying
That's not a joke.
ironic or tongue-in-cheek.
No,
they
that's
believe
not
that.
a joke.
Okay, right.
And then the punchline isn't funny either. So it's all, honestly, the whole thing, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I watched a whole hour of this guy. There's no jokes in it at all. It's just weird ranting.
But it's supposed to be funny, as in they're intending for it to be funny?
I think so. Yeah. I've been obsessed with their videos.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That's the first thing we're doing when we get home, because that sounds absolutely up our street.
I think we could at least get 10 minutes there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Also, we're pretty sure that Joe Biden is a robot.
Yeah.
Believe
A
that.
robot.
Yeah, robot. Yeah.
Is that what they believe?
There's different opinions. There's imposters, and there's a strong theory he's a robot. I don't really believe the robot theory, because if he is, he's a shit robot and keeps breaking down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's a guy I follow on Twitter who believes that football matches are scripted. And he said if you watch them with the commentary off, you can really see. Don't know.
I mean,
Have you done that?
No.
I could definitely see sports matches being somewhat,
Well,
tilted.
it's fair to. Things in sport have been fixed, right? And there's certain things that happen in football that have been fixed. I think there was in Italy. I think there was the throw-in scandal thing, and there's been various things like that. Yeah. But it's like on a specific minute, a specific time, there's going to be a corner, and they've made that happen. But to fix an entire result is very difficult to do.
That is so much effort for everyone involved. From the coaching staff, everything. How deep does it go?
Yeah.
Is the
Just be good
mascot
at the game.
involved?
Yeah.
Yes, the mascot's the mascot.
They never think it through.
They don't think it through.
Yeah.
It's much easier to rig boxing. I think that's an easy sport, easier sport to rig, right? Because you've only got to have the fighter and maybe the manager, the promoter.
We've all seen Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Football's a very difficult one.
Yeah.
But I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, and he goes on about numerology and how all the scores mean things and the minute things happen and the shirt numbers. It's like,
but again, when we talked about this on the podcast before, it's like when you want to find meaning in something, you want to find conspiracy in something, you always can, right? There's always a way of linking it to something to create to enforce the narrative that's in your head, right? And you want to be that person that's in the know. You want to be that person that knows more than everyone else.
Confirmation bias.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
great stuff.
Yeah. And you signed up to Matt Le Tissier's newsletter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I
was reading each one.
Yeah.
On YouTube, and then he stopped doing them completely because I think what happened is I should
just explain who Matt Le Tissier is because as I'm a Southampton fan. So Matt Le Tissier, if you don't know, was a Premier League footballer that played for Southampton for his entire career. He was a hero at Southampton, and a few years ago, I'd say maybe 7 or 8 years ago, he started coming up with some very interesting conspiracy theories.
Was it not just over COVID?
I think it was over COVID, but I think he said some things before that. I'm
Oh, right,
sure
I
he
didn't
did say
know.
a few things before that. But in COVID, he really went to town on it.
Yeah.
He went. I mean, we all went a little bit insane, but he really, really went insane. So I have really mixed feelings about him now. But anyway, he has a newsletter.
Yeah, and everyone assumed it would be. So on Twitter, he's all on about the vaccine and how it's killing people and all of this stuff, right? And then I think everyone was expecting his newsletter to be that.
Yeah.
But it's the most boring thing you've ever read. It goes into great detail about a game of golf he had. And if you don't know anything about golf, it's gibberish, right? It's just like, what's he going on about? Yeah, all of that. Talking about a restaurant he went to. And he'd say things like, and then much hilarity ensued. And he like always he writes like that. His punctuation's got worse as it's gone on. Like he's just stopped proofreading them.
Right.
So he stopped doing them. I think he did about 20 or maybe even like 16 or something weekly. He stopped completely. And like, you know, if you've ever done a newsletter, you can see the amount of people that open it.
Mm-hmm.
His figures must have gone down so rapidly.
Yeah.
It must have been horrible.
Yeah.
Like it would have gone from maybe thousands to like 6 people or that actually opened it.
Yeah.
And imagine all the people unsubscribing as well.
Also, what are you following him for? Do you know what I mean? Like when you're no longer playing football, there's got to be something that's pulling people in.
Yeah.
Basically, talk about conspiracies, Matt. That's what we will read them out on
exactly.
this podcast. If
He does
you talk about
CBD.
conspiracies.
Yes.
CBD gummies he sells.
Does he? Yeah. Okay.
Do you think those work?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
my uncle takes them because he's got like severe sciatica.
Mm-hmm.
But
Does it help?
I think it does. I wouldn't take them. I'd rather face
No.
the pain because I'm manly.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Could just be the placebo effect.
Yeah.
Some people believe this stuff.
Well, placebo effect has been documented. You
Yeah,
know, like
absolutely.
um,
Power of positive thinking.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, but no, what's the point? I want to get high on it. I don't get high incidentally, but I do. Yeah, if you're going to do it, you might as well have the THC as well.
Yeah.
You know, but then that's not legal.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we're not promoting that.
No.
Nor do we know anyone who's done that.
I don't even know what that is.
No. not in the world of entertainment. We've never met anyone who's done that kind of stuff. So, the 9/11 premonitions. Firstly, Bilal, do you remember where you were when 9/11 happened?
Yeah, I think I was in year 5. I think I was,
shut up.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Sorry, can I just explain? Because I was at work.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Year 5. Year.
I think so.
How old's year 5?
10.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Okay. But you would have remembered it at that age, right?
Yeah, but I got in from school and it was on the news. And I had no idea how important it was, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know, like, because you always would see stuff on the news that was bad.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't realize how bad it was. I remember not being like, I wasn't sort of shocked.
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, this thing's happened.
You were at work.
I was in work in what is now a Starbucks, but I wasn't working in Starbucks. I was working in a clothes shop, and it was awful. It was one of the worst jobs I've ever had. And I remember just thinking, oh, I wish I was dead. I swear to God, I thought that. And across the way, there was a cafe, and there was a TV in the cafe, and we could see people gathering around the TV. And my colleague went over, because I wasn't allowed to leave the place. My colleague went over and says, someone's flown a plane into the World Trade Center. And then everything just sort of went, everything went weird and horrible. And I remember thinking at the time, well, okay, well, I know those buildings are able to take a massive impact. Oh, fuck, it's terrible. And then everything sort of happened. But I remember very, very, very distinctly when the second tower fell.
Yeah.
Because I heard it around, like, because I was working in Soho. And I heard everybody go, no.
Reaction, yeah.
Oh, really?
Horrible. Yeah.
Wow.
It was, I'm actually getting quite emotional right now because it was, and you know.
That's a good point, because that did happen on live TV, didn't it? 'Cause
Yeah.
the first plane that hit wasn't, and they've got footage of it, but the second one, because I remember when they first started broadcasting about it, the second tower was still up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first tower was still up when they first started broadcasting. Like,
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't see the plane go in. But I remember the moment when the second plane went in, because everybody reacted.
Yeah.
And this was a TV in a cafe. You know, high up. You know the way they used to have.
Yeah.
And there was no
like
real
on
sound.
the movies.
Like on the movies, and
Yeah.
there wasn't really any sound. And you heard people go, like it was horrible. I didn't realize I was digging that up. And it was really, really horrible. And then when it fell, I remember thinking, you've misunderstood what's happened. It's been debris you saw falling. And then of course everything.
Yeah.
Everything
That's interesting
happened.
to be in a place where there's a lot of people around, not even in the same country, but everyone's watching the same thing, and to hear the reaction at this. Because I was at home. Well, I was driving back from university, I think, and I was about halfway back, and there were these reports coming through on the radio, and I was listening to like a music station, but it was interrupted by these reports, and I was like, I didn't believe it. I just didn't believe it didn't seem real. It didn't seem like a thing that would happen. And then got home and switched on the TV and then watched probably the same stuff you were watching. But then, but to be around in a city where a load of people in a car, in a cafe or bar where you're watching it, that would have been.
Well, I was the shop that I was in. I was at the door because I wasn't allowed to leave the store, and they were just across, like 200 feet away, not even 100 feet away, and I was hearing it, like. And I could see vaguely that I could see the TV screen, although it was in the distance. And I was a glasses wearer at the time, so it was really. I mean, I remember getting the bus home that night, and it was just so awful and weird. And I mean, because it was a terrible thing that happened.
Was it predicted?
Was it predicted?
That's the question. Okay, so the idea that September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks were predicted is a common theme in conspiracy theories. These theories claim that certain individuals, groups, or even media had foreknowledge of the attacks. Several conspiracy theories point to instances in popular media where they believe the 9/11 attacks were symbolically or directly referenced before they occurred. Now, there are, as you guys know, a lot of these, right? There are, so we're not going to go through every single one of them, but we have highlighted some of the biggest ones and also some of the weirdest ones that we've discovered. I'm going to go with the big dog first, Nostradamus. Okay, so Nostradamus is one of the most famous and controversial figures in the realm of prophecy. Born in 1503, the French astrologer and seer is best known for his book Les Prophéties, published in 1555, which contains hundreds of quatrains, 4-line poems purported to predict future events. Many claim that these quatrains have foretold various major historical events, from the rise of Napoleon to World War II. One of the most debated modern interpretations is the theory that Nostradamus predicted the September 11, 2011 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center. After the September 11th attack, numerous people turned to Nostradamus' writings looking for any clues that might have foreshadowed such a world-shattering event. The most cited quatrain in this theory reads, "In the year of the new century and 9 months, from the sky will come a great king of terror. The sky will burn at 45 degrees. Fire approaches the great new city." It's tenuous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a really big thing to say about Nostradamus and 9/11.
Go on then.
It's to cover up all the other predictions that were actually true.
Why do you think that?
So last night I was doing the research for this, and I was like, I know all about this, all these predictions, because this is gravy, it's exciting stuff. And there was YouTube videos for it, and there's stuff to do with Back to the Future and all this stuff. And I went looking for it, and it's all scrubbed, it's all gone. But you can the first search for predictions of 9/11 is Nostradamus.
That is true. That is true.
And that was not. That was not the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the one that's still in popular culture is The Simpsons predicted it.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's definitely something to consider. But it's all been scrubbed. It's all been scrubbed because I knew the neighborhood. I knew where the videos were and everything on YouTube and various sites, and they're all gone. It's like Nostradamus. There's even a thing. Michael Caine started writing a book, didn't publish the book. Michael Caine, the esteemed actor, wonderful man, he wrote a book where there was an attack on a British building by a plane, very similar to 9/11. He says, I kind of predicted it. And that comes up before other things that are much more credible.
When you, because obviously this is one that you suggested, when you first thought about this one, what was the prediction that you thought? Who was the one that sort of came to mind?
Prince.
Yeah, okay.
That's my favourite.
See, because you told me about that, and I didn't know that until today, and then I looked into that. And what you said about searching for these is true, because I'll ask ChatGPT. The first thing ChatGPT returns is the Nostradamus theory, right? Doesn't return the Prince theory at all. And even Google, like the Prince one is a long, long way down. I did eventually find it, and it's fascinating. But it is true to say that. But then Nostradamus, it is a big name. And
Yeah,
there's also a lot of material created online about it, so it would naturally show up at the top of searches.
because it's counter. It's counter. It's to cover things up.
Yeah.
I believe that more than actually, if anything, predicted 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very, very interesting. It's Nostradamus. Like Nostradamus is so 1989. Come on, like we're past that.
Okay.
Orson, do you ever see the Orson Welles talking about Nostradamus? He did a whole like you could buy it like on video cassette. Like the Nostradamus prophecies, and Orson Welles was narrating it.
Oh.
Yeah, like so, like it was a really big thing, and like he was.
Listen to that. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
it's great. Like, and it's Orson Welles. Like you've got, there's a party there right away. The man just talks. You're like, oh, you're amazing. But
Fan of Nostradamus, Bilal, or skeptical?
Love him.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about him really.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, he's said to predict a lot of things, but I do think a lot of it is just simply down to the interpretation of these.
That's the problem.
Quatrains, exactly, right? So the lines here that he said here. So the proponents of the theory argue that the phrase "new century and 9 months" could refer to September 2001, given the attacks occurred in the first year of the 21st century. The King of Terror, descending from the sky, has been interpreted as a reference to the hijacked planes used in the attacks, while fire approaches the Great New City is often taken to describe the fires that engulf the World Trade Center towers in New York, commonly referred to as the Great New City.
Cool.
See, but
It's fun.
it's fun, right? And I can see those links could be made, but those links could be made to a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
And also the idea of a new city. I mean, there were a lot of new cities. There's always new cities.
Media
isn't there?
City in Manchester. Have you been
Exactly.
there?
Exactly. Could have been that.
Very new.
Could have been that.
Yeah, too new.
Too new. Another quatrain frequently connected to the 9/11 mentions earth-shaking fire from the center of the earth will cause tremors around the new city. Two great rocks will war for a long time. Then Arethusa will redden a new river. Okay, so
What's that?
Yeah, well, that's that. So in this quatrain, supporters of the theory interpret the new city as New York, and the two great rocks as the Twin Towers. The earth-shaking fire and tremors could symbolize the impact and the collapse of the towers.
Did he say the fire from the center of the earth or something?
Yeah, he said
That's not where it came from.
Earth-shaking fire from the center of the earth. Exactly, it didn't. It came from the sky.
No.
So
Idiot.
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's a shame. If he didn't have that bit in there,
Yeah,
it would have looked a lot better.
yeah.
I should point out that Nostradamus did predict Hitler. He referred to him as history, got one letter wrong, but talked about Hitler and Napoleon and Second World War.
Cool. Is it a good book? His one? Like,
I'm not going to lie to you, not read all of it. I've read the highlights.
is there I bet there's a lot of nonsense, right?
Yeah.
If you can find the Orson Welles talking about
Yeah, that sounds good.
it's really fun because Orson Welles knows exactly, it's so silly-ious, but he also gives it credibility. He doesn't like look down his nose at it. And it's Orson Welles, like just watch the Orson Welles thing. I was going to go into, but I don't want to get sidetracked by Nostradamus because I do think it's sort of retro, and I do think it's counterintelligence.
There's also a bit that says so that he refers to the year of the new century and 9 months is actually not. They talk about that as being a problem because while some interpret 9 months as September of 2011, the Gregorian calendar places the actual beginning of the 21st century in 2001, not 2000, meaning that the phrase doesn't line up with the exact timing. So even
He blew it.
He blew it. Fucked it, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was a year out. Can't be right.
But just you saying that, the new year and 9 months, what was it? Sorry?
Yeah, the new...
It sounds good, you know. Like
It
I've never
doesn't-
heard anyone
in the year
talk
of
like
the
that.
new century and 9 months.
The new century.
Doesn't say specifically which century though, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's millennia as well, if we're going to be really pedantic about it. So, should we talk about the great prophets of our time, the Simpsons?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you aware that you were aware of this one before?
Is it The Image?
The Image, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so The Simpsons in 1997. The conspiracy theory primarily focused on the Simpsons episode titled The City of New York versus Homer Simpson, which first aired on September 21st, 1997. In season...
September 21st.
Yeah, which is not September 11th. In season 9, in the episode, the Simpson family travel to New York City after Homer's car is illegally parked in front of the World Trade Center towers. The part of the episode that sparked conspiracy theories occurs when Lisa Simpson holds up a travel brochure that reads New York $9 with an image of the Twin Towers in the background. Conspiracy theorists claim that the placement of the $9 sign next to the towers visually resembles 9/11, as in the towers of the 11. This image is often cited as evidence that the show predicted the attacks years before they happened.
You think they'd do more though in the episode?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Loads of opportunity.
But
Yeah.
of all the places that Hoover's car could be parked,
Yeah.
it's in front of the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
Come on. And it's
The most iconic, one of the most iconic landmarks in New York.
Is it though? Like
But okay, so George and I were talking about this before the podcast. right?
Yeah.
If you were going to put,
George Artek.
if you were going to have a travel brochure of New York City at that time, it's very likely the Twin Towers are going to be on the front of it.
Yes, because it's predictive.
See, because I was little when it happened,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. My only reference of it is them getting destroyed,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
don't know what they represented before.
Yeah.
So,
Well, in 1993, there'd already been an attempted bombing on it,
yeah.
That's true.
and which then sparked a movie called Path to Paradise with Art Malik. Art Malik, one of the most beautiful men ever. Call me. And in that movie, he talks about, because he's playing one of the terrorists, because he was a man of color, so of course he had to play one of the terrorists because it was no longer the Irish. And he talks, one of the lines he has in the movie is, and it's a terrible movie and it's on YouTube, is next time we'll bring both towers down. And that was a movie that was in 1997. So like it's there all the time. Also, he says it when he's in a helicopter flying around it.
Not a plane, though.
Not a plane,
Yeah,
but
not
it's
a plane.
it's about an aerial view. It's about an aerial view, and because there's so many things about in adverts where planes are flying into the World Trade Center. Like it's unbelievable. It goes back to the 1960s. You've had planes flying into it, or like a really, really famous one. I'm jumping all over the place, but the Rugrats movie. You must
Yeah.
remember the Rugrats movie.
I don't know what this is, though.
Okay, so the Rugrats movie, the beginning of it has a plane flying over Notre Dame because they go to Paris in the Rugrats movie, and but Notre Dame Cathedral has these two weird things sticking out of it that looks like the Twin Towers in silhouette behind it. Don't know why, it's just there, and the plane flies over it, like the plane is going to fly into it. And then I've forgotten what the redhead character's called. There's Chucky.
That is Chucky,
It's
isn't it?
Chucky.
It's
Yeah,
Chucky,
it's
Chucky,
Chucky, yeah.
and Chucky has this bit where he's talking and he says 9/11, and it's out of context.
Does he?
Yeah. So and that's the
Quite
Rugrats movie. Yeah, but this was 19.
He just randomly blurts out 9/11.
Yeah, like 9/11. Yeah. And then, what do you call Angelica? Angelica, in one of the episodes of Rugrats, keeps talking about how she wants a 9/11 emergency kit. Obviously, 9/11 is the 999 emergency services in the United States.
They call
Okay,
it
911.
They say
But-
911.
Yeah.
No,
it's
but no, but this is 9/11. She was saying that.
But that is good. But I remember, because the thing is, because they're little, they get lots wrong.
That's
right?
true.
So like I remember
Hiding in plain sight.
basically I had a video of Aladdin recorded from the Disney Channel that someone gave me as a gift, and after it were 2 episodes of the Rugrats so I've seen them thousands of times when I was little, so I've memorized the whole thing. There was an episode where they have a court case and there's so many jokes of them getting things wrong, so instead of the judge they call him the fudge, right?
Yeah.
So I think 9/11 instead of 911 is probably the joke they were doing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not
Right?
not saying the joke at the time, but you know
That is
prediction-
nicely deconstructed there.
Yeah, no, and I agree because the Rugrats is such a great cartoon.
It is
Yeah, I
great
love it,
cartoon.
yeah.
It's really, really funny. But yeah, I have loads of these.
Also, Angelica was a dick.
I love
She was out
Angelica.
of order, yeah.
Yeah, she
that
was.
episode about the court case, it was all her that did
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing.
Of course,
Yeah.
she was evil.
Yeah, she smashed Tommy's lamp.
Yeah, real piece of work. Real piece of work. So the arguments behind the Simpsons theory, proponents of this theory often invoke the concept of predicted programming, suggesting that the media, including the Simpsons, is used to precondition the public for future events. According to this view, governments or powerful secret organizations allegedly embed subtle references to major events like 9/11 in popular culture as a way to desensitize or psychologically prepare society for these events before they happen.
Why?
Yeah, I thought that. Why would you do that?
Because wasn't everyone shocked when it happened?
Yeah.
Were they not as
Well,
shocked
that you
as
would-
they would have been?
Yeah, you
'Cause
would have
they
been more
said it on
shocked had it not
Rugrats?
been for the Rugrats. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've heard of this somewhere.
Angelica's blurted it out.
Yeah.
So it is interesting how much 9/11 or 9/11 comes up in movies and media.
Yeah.
And I can give you a list. So, for example, The Matrix. Thomas Anderson's passport expires on September 11th,
Right.
2001.
Okay.
Does it?
Yeah. So that came out, The Matrix came out in 1998, 99.
Yeah.
During there's a movie called Long Kiss Goodnight starring Samuel L. Jackson. The plot, and that is Gina Davis plays a woman who has amnesia, and it turns out the reason she has amnesia is because she used to be an assassin, and she starts getting her memory back. And anyway, she has to stop this big terrible plot. Samuel L. Jackson's her sidekick. It's freaking awesome, and the plot is 9/11, pretty much exactly. One of the lines in it is, I don't know how to fake kill 4,000 people. You have to do it for real. And they talk about the World Trade Center. And that movie was 1996. 1995, Samuel L. Jackson is the sidekick again in Die Hard with a Vengeance. And he walks down the steps in this subway station, and the clock ticks from 9:10, and it's a digital clock, to 9:11. That happens repeatedly. The Pelican Brief, there are signs everywhere in that movie saying 9/11. There's a protest, and people are holding up signs 9/11. And it's not part of the plot or anything. It keeps getting shown.
Okay, but there will also be a million other movies where people are protesting with a different date or a different number on their placards.
This has been done, but this is being analysed. But for example, in The Parent Trap, the Lindsay Lohan version, great film, thoroughly recommend it. The action starts 9 years and 11 months later. That's the beginning of the action.
And
9 months.
Plays twins, doesn't
and she plays
That's
twins.
2 towers.
And there, thank you, yes, right. And so there's other ones. There's a movie with Mel Gibson called The Patriot, and he at the beginning of the movie, it's really odd. He's making a chair. It's set in the American Civil War, and he weighs it, and it's 9 pounds 11 ounces. He then sits on the chair, and it breaks.
Okay. Bilal, as a 10-year-old boy at this time, do you feel that this would have hit you a lot harder had you not been a Rugrats fan?
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe I knew.
You say you couldn't comprehend it because you were just
I was
a
like,
child.
oh, well, I've heard of this.
You knew this. Yeah, you knew it was coming.
It's been in all my cartoons.
Yeah.
What's the big
Well, it
deal?
has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was in G.I. Joe. It was in
I feel
Extreme Ghostbusters and The Real Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was in Super Friends, which was 1977.
Do you remember the Microsoft Word thing with 9/11?
Yeah.
Go
It
on.
was
This is
great.
ringing a bell, but go on.
I fully believed it.
Okay.
If you put the flight number in
Yeah.
to a Word document and I think the text was Windings, maybe, not Webdings. I think it was Windings.
Yeah.
Which is all like symbols.
Yeah.
It would show you a plane and 2 towers and like a thumbs up or something.
Yeah.
Which I fully believe. I remember seeing that. I was quite young, probably 11, 12 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that confirms it, because it was the flight number, Q33NY.
Yeah.
Turns out it's not
Right.
flight number at all. And that's nothing, the Q33NY thing.
So even
Unfortunately.
Microsoft didn't know.
No, but imagine they did. That'd
Yeah.
be nice of them to
It would
put
be,
a clue in.
Yeah.
Windings.
Yeah. Where else would you put it? Yeah.
Remember doing that?
No, I was working in a shop at that point.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, computers are a weird thing to me.
But you already knew because of Die Hard with a Vengeance. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Long Kiss Goodnight.
yeah.
And the Back
Every
to the
other
Future
film you just mentioned.
Back to the Future trilogy has it all.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know Back to the Future had it.
No, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
so with Back to the Future, the beginning of the movie, and if you watch the movie, I don't want to give any spoilers, but he's running to the Twin Pines.
I'm pretty sure most people would have seen it by now.
But it's a great
It
film.
is a
I
great
don't want to
film.
ruin it
Yeah.
for people. I really do love it. He's running, Michael J. Fox's character, Marty, is running to the Twin Pines Mall
Yes.
to save Doc from the terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Twin Pines Mall. And when he comes back through all the time shenanigans, it's the Lone Pine Mall.
Yeah.
Because he won't back in time and
Yeah.
destroy one of the towers, but that's what happened. Also, he has to get to 116. That's the speed he has to get to. And if you turn 116 upside down, it's 9/11.
Okay, but so just on the Lone Pine Mall thing, I know why that happens, because it is the Twin Pine Mall, as you said. When he goes into the future, he knocks one of them down as the car goes through.
Yeah.
So it's a very clever callback when he goes back. because
absolutely.
He changes the past in 1955.
Absolutely.
Right.
But I've got more.
Okay.
Okay. So Robert Zemeckis was the director of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And then Robert Zemeckis did a film with Joseph Gordon-Levitt called, I think it's called The Walk. I might have this wrong, but it's about the man who strung a tightrope between the two towers in 1973, and he walked along it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays that character in the movie. And he's wearing the exact same clothes that Michael J. Fox is wearing in Back to the Future, linking them both together. Like it's the same outfit, and that's the link.
That's a very tenuous link. Also,
if you see it,
I'm not even sure how that matters.
It matters because it's connecting Michael J. Fox is wearing the clothes of the man that's walking between the twin towers to help tie it all in together.
Right.
Also, so you know the way in Back to the Future, there's the tower stripes are fire.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a big sign in the scene, you know, with the clock turning.
Yeah.
When they're going back from Back to the Future, there's a big 9, and it's a 9/11 when the tower strikes happen.
Yeah. And you thought it was just Prince?
No, it's loads of. Look, all I'm saying is there is tons of this.
Okay, so who do we think? Okay, if that's the case, who the fuck is? Because all of those films are made by different people. Okay, Robert Zemeckis made 2 of those films, right? But all of the films you just listed are made by different directors, different producers, different studios, different people, different writers. Are they all in on this then? Are we suggesting they all knew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah? Or is there someone who goes in and puts these things in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look. I mean, that happens. You know, like you know, people have handlers. You know, where P. Diddy just got arrested. You know, and that's all about to come out what happened there. And
But going back to your point, why?
Well, I do have an answer, but I kind of feel like you're both looking at me like you're never going to speak to me again.
No, we just think you're mental.
You know, well, no, I'm just relaying the facts.
Okay.
It's to do with karmic debt. So if they say that they're going to do something, then it relieves the karmic debt of them doing it. So they don't get as badly punished. Well, we were going to do it. We announced it. It's like TFL.
There'll be so many people that will have to be in on this.
But it's a huge club. We're just not part of it.
Okay.
But it's like TFL saying, you know, engineering works this weekend. You know, it absolves them of any sin of how much they've inconvenienced me all those times.
Yeah. It's a pretty fair parallel, that one, actually.
Yeah. TFL are evil.
Okay.
They're doing that for their karma.
Yeah. So they said they were going to do it. So, you know, more fool you for falling for it.
Yeah.
They'd say we're going to destroy.
We just none
Does
of us.
that help the karma?
Yeah.
Because you're still doing it.
Well, as someone who's a good person and does not actually know, but yeah, that's the
That's what
argument
people right. I've
I'm
not
only
heard
here
that
to tell you the crazy stuff. I'm not going to agree with it.
Fair. No, it's good that that we now know and we understand. Yeah, like you say, fucking idiots for not spotting it earlier. Any thoughts?
No.
So some believers in the Simpsons theory point out the Simpsons has an unusual track record of coincidentally predicting real world
The
events.
Trump one's good, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So they predicted Donald Trump's presidency, which I don't think is that hard because he sort of had some political ambitions, didn't he? And he was a big name, so I could sort of see why that one came about. But they did predict smartwatches and the horse meat scandal in Europe.
Yep.
Oh.
Which was a weird one. But when I was reading this earlier, I was like, oh yeah, they did. I do remember they reminded, and they were quite accurate with that one as well.
But did they go off a rumor? Maybe, you know what I mean? Like maybe it was suggested somewhere, in the background, and they were like, "That's a funny thing to go with."
Well, that's the thing, because when you've got a team of writers, you've got a lot of people influenced by a lot of things who also know a lot about the world. Because the reason it's so funny is because it's relatable, it's accurate, right? So these are knowledgeable people. They're sort of in tune with not just pop culture but history. So we've said this before, an idea has to come from somewhere, right? So I kind of agree with that you know, they've heard a story or a seed of a story somewhere and they've just we'll bring this in because this will be funny.
It's like rumors, isn't it? Like the way that there's these clips on YouTube of comedians making jokes about Savile being, you know, like because there were rumors.
Exactly.
It's not like they all knew and it was a secret. It's like it was,
But it's funny because the rumors are there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you make
Well, I mean, Johnny Rotten, I think...
I mean, no, it's not that funny, just to
you know,
point out.
but I mean, Johnny Rotten turned around and said about Savile being a...
Yeah, but he wasn't doing it as a joke. He was literally telling people this is happening.
But neither, and the great granddaddy of conspiracy theories, David Icke, he mentions it in his
Yeah, he
first
does.
books.
That's true.
Like categorically, because he was a TV presenter. You know, he went from football to wearing terrible.
He said he was Jesus, though, and no one brings that up.
Well,
You know what I mean?
So basically, David Icke is just the example of in America, he'd become like a mega church pastor, and here he's just a weird hermit in a cave. He had a profound experience in South America. It changed his worldview, and he sort of was talking about that almost immediately. So he hadn't really computed it. You know, that he took, like, if you go and see him talk now, it's a very entertaining.
Was his
7
profound
hours.
experience ayahuasca?
We don't know. We don't know. It was something happened. Something
That's
happened.
what happens.
Yeah.
Though, isn't it?
Yes.
When you go out there.
Mostly.
And he, I mean, it changed his worldview. He's a multimillionaire now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, really, like all
I can
that we're
see why his
talking about.
worldview carries on being his worldview.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to do ayahuasca and become a millionaire. You know, but I had an experience with David Icke very early on, about 1994. I interviewed him for a TV show back home, and he was with his, I think it was still his wife, although she is now divorced from her, although he's still friends with her. It was a church hall, and he was setting out the chairs for this meeting, and no one showed up, and we didn't end up using the footage. Like, that's how quiet it was. And now he sells out stadiums. He makes millions on his books.
And this was early days of him starting these things.
Yes, he was a joke, a complete joke
Yeah.
at this point. So the Jesus thing had happened. He had an interview on Terry Wogan, and Terry Wogan was always.
How many chairs did he put out?
It was about 40, because I offered to help him and he wouldn't.
You'd
do
think
it.
you'd know, right? You should have an idea of how many people.
It was
Yeah.
it was a small church hall.
put 10 chairs out. I'd say.
Yeah.
And but like he's I gotta be real. He's one of the people that I think about when, like, well, he started really small and now he's huge. You know, if I keep going, it'll happen for me. That is one of my inspirations.
Is that why you always put 40 chairs at every gig?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
40 is my number.
Yeah.
Life begins at 40.
Fair, yeah. So debunking the theory, the conspiracy theory overlooks the context of the episode and the purpose of the visual joke. The $9 symbol in the travel brochure was part of a gag about the affordability of visiting New York, not a hidden reference to future terrorist attacks. The Twin Towers were included.
It was a hidden reference. This is Bill.
But it's true that's...
Yeah, it was a 9. But Lisa says it's like cheap bus coach ticket. It's hidden in plain sight.
But there are certain numbers that are funny, right? And 9 is a funny number. Also,
Funnier than 10.
Yeah, funnier than 10.
Yeah.
It's true.
What's funnier than 9?
I think 9's a pretty funny number.
It's good, innit? Because
Yeah.
it's nearly 10.
73 is a funny number.
I think
Yeah.
69's hilarious.
69's funny. 69's funny for, yeah.
Imagine if the 9/11 happened on 69.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, everyone was always talking about 69.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it to
But
desensitize it.
they didn't.
They made it a sex act.
They didn't.
Yeah.
You know.
It would be all sex stuff.
I mean,
filth.
no, there is a whole sex magic aspect to 9/11
I
as
do
well.
feel
but-
like with the date stuff, like my birthday's October the 16th, and I see that everywhere. Whenever there's a historical reference anywhere, and it's like this happened on October the 16th, I'm like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
And you do notice that.
Yeah.
You not think?
Yeah, I
there's a bit of
agree.
that?
Yeah.
It's like if you say look out for red cars, you see red cars everywhere. It's what you focus in on. But it is deliciously interesting how much 9/11 pops up in things, how much September 9th or September 11th pops up in things.
But the power of suggestion and the fact that it's probably now the most significant date in the world when you think about culture, popular culture. There's everyone knows. You just have to say a date and everyone knows what you're talking about. There's no other date like that in the world. Even maybe December 25th, maybe, or 1st of January, maybe. But do you know what I mean? It's like it's that significant.
It's definitely a significant date. I mean, it's significant to me because that's the day I got out of hospital. You know, like, so I'll always remember September 11th.
Yeah, we should point out that was a different year. Not
No.
Yeah.
It's only a couple of years ago.
So the X-Files. You heard about this one?
No.
Okay. Did you watch the X-Files?
A little bit.
Okay. You would have been young, but I guess did you get into it?
Yeah, I rewatched a bit of it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a bit long.
It's a bit long,
You know?
isn't it?
Yeah.
Tails off a bit
But
as
I
well.
like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
There's more good episodes than bad. And it also
Oh, yeah.
introduced everybody to the idea of big conspiracy theories and them trying to get you. So I have a lot of
That is true. That is
lot
true.
of love for their
It is very conspiratorial. The theory that the X-Files predicted 9/11 revolves around a specific spin-off episode entitled Pilot from the Lone Gunman series, which aired on the 4th of March 2001, just 6 months before the September 11th terrorist attacks. The Lone Gunman was a short-lived show that was a spin-off of the X-Files, focusing on 3 conspiracy theorists who occasionally worked with FBI agent Fox Mulder from the original show. The plot of the episode closely resembles the actual 9/11 attacks, leading some to believe that it was either predicted or the event was an instance of so-called predicted programming. The main characters uncover a plot by rogue elements within the US government to hijack a commercial airliner. The conspirators plan to remotely control the plane and crash it into the World Trade Center in New York City. Their motive is to create a pretext for a profitable war and to justify increased military spending, which mirrors some of the conspiracy theories surrounding the actual 9/11 attacks.
That's good, isn't
It
it?
is good, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you watch the episode, it looks like
Yeah.
The 9/11
I'm going to watch
attack.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched it on YouTube, or a bit of it on YouTube today, and I'd forgotten about this spin-off because I was really into the X-Files as a kid. I was a
Yeah.
very geeky kid. And I'd forgotten who the Lone Gunmen were, and then I watched it and I remembered they are the 2 geeky conspiracy guys that help Mulder, and they're sort of techie, aren't they? And
Yeah.
they and it's not great, the spin-off, but it is eerily accurate. Like, the only bit that isn't that accurate is the fact that they they're trying to remotely control the planes rather than actually.
Or did
However-
they?
Yeah, well, that's it.
because that's been talked about.
Yeah.
You know, the hijackers didn't actually know how to fly the plane.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, there's also people saying that there were holograms. But anyway, my point, like that's the Lone Gunman pilot.
Wow. Do you think they
Very closely
they probably
resembles it.
stopped showing that for a while, right?
Well, you can't get it on DVD.
No,
Um,
you can't. Although that's partly because it was a bit shit. But you can watch this it on YouTube.
The
And
full episode.
I don't know about the full episode. This was what I saw was like a 7-minute bit, but it's specifically around that.
Yeah, they-
Conspiracies are fun, man.
Yeah.
You know, like as much as I laugh at certain guys that are into like numerology and stuff, it's like that is a laugh though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watching anything.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, on this second, this happened, and all. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it is great.
I don't want to live my life that detailed. But I mean, have you ever met someone who's a 2030
What's that?
The number. There's someone who puts incredible significance in the number 23.
Oh, I've seen the number 20,
Which is a terrible
It's
Jim Carrey movie, but that's a
amazingly bad.
that's a real thing. It's
Yeah.
a real movement, and it's like, oh, okay, you know, that's weird.
It's pretty boring. Like when you watch stuff about numerology, it's quite dull.
Yeah, it is.
gets boring quick.
numbers.
Yeah.
But it's a shame, innit? Like I feel like you've probably said this before, but like conspiracies, I feel like used to be a laugh,
Yeah.
and it's a bit more sinister now.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's revealing the truth.
But it's so much easier to spread it. It's also so much easier to build a following, right? So you know, if you're convincing enough, and you look at the number of people that follow these conspiracy theory groups online, and specific conspiracies as well. I mean, the Flat Earth Society is absolutely massive. Now, we've actually said this on the podcast before. We think they're actually quite harmless, and we know people who've like spoken to the Flat Earth Society. They're nice people. They just believe something different. They're not necessarily doing any harm to the world, but there are some that are actually dangerous, and that is where it gets a little bit frightening. But you're right, it used to be more fun.
Like Alex Jones used to be funny,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Got into
He was just
Bohemian
like
Grove.
John Ronson's
Yeah.
researcher. You know, they were talking about researching interesting stuff, and people were engaged with it. He's just. But here's the question though: do you think that he's gone off on the road that he has because he believes this stuff, or do you think it is cashing in?
I think it's cashing in.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You know, lots of people don't have morals. Like,
This is
if
true.
you're going to become a multimillionaire
Why not go that
that
road?
easily.
Well, he's getting sued into bankruptcy, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
he's
gone a bit too far.
It's gone a bit too far.
But, you know, there's definitely a lot of people that do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's comedians who do that sort of thing.
That is very true.
Yeah.
We're hoping to do this.
One in
No,
particular.
We're not.
There's a few, man. It's like, it's easy, isn't it, right now?
Yeah.
It's like you say a certain thing and pretend you're being silenced.
Yeah.
Get loads of fans.
Yeah.
I'm being held down. The man doesn't want us to talk.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a question of do you want those fans? But then there's the
Some
argument.
people do.
Well, yeah, that's true. And
I'll take love wherever I can get it.
yeah, and some people just think as long as they're buying tickets, the thing is, if you were a writer and you were gonna create a story about a terrorist attack in New York City at this sort of time, okay, and this is quite specific, but you probably are gonna pick the biggest landmark in any city, right?
Sure. The plane thing, though.
The plane thing is the thing that makes it.
Because I don't know. Had that been done before? Are they basing it on something?
there'd been a biplane that had flown into the World Trade Center, but it was an accident.
Yeah.
There had been the terrorist attack in 1993.
But that wasn't a plane.
That wasn't a plane. That was a bomb in the basement. And actually, what they were trying to do was, because it's reclaimed land that the Trade Center was built on, and they were trying to get the Hudson to flood, and it was to try and get New York City flooded. That was what the bombing actually was from the World Trade Centers then, or like at least that's what they say. I mean, it is an iconic image. Like, for example, like Limp Bizkit filmed the most successful video of 2000.
Terrible timing.
On top of that, and that video was everywhere, and the moment it all happened, it got pulled. So there was this little movie called Spider-Man that was getting promoted, and the big promotion for that was a big web with a helicopter in it between the Twin Towers. And for the longest time you could not find that, and I thought I'd imagined it, but that was
it. Like, I think my brother somehow downloaded it.
Yeah, because it was
I'd watch it all the time because it was really cool.
Yeah,
it's a really good ending.
Yeah,
and the ending that they replaced it with wasn't
not
so good. In the episode, the main characters of this X-Files episode successfully intervene and prevent the plane from crashing into the Twin Towers at the last minute, averting disaster. While the details of the fictional plot differ from the real events of 9/11, the similarities are striking. A hijacked commercial airliner, a target at the World Trade Center, and a secret government conspiracy. That said, those two characters were incredibly conspiratorial. So it doesn't really surprise me. But yeah,
I think X-Files gave Bin Laden the idea.
Yeah.
That's
he was a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Bin Laden was on dialysis at this point, so what else was he going to do but watch the X-Files? It was the TV show.
This is a weird one. The Illuminati card game.
Oh, yeah.
In 1995.
Yeah.
You heard about this one?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know there was an Illuminati card game. That's the most exciting thing about this. So another widely circulated theory comes from the Illuminati New World Order card game created by Steve Jackson in 1995. The game features two cards that conspiracy theories link to 9/11. One card is called Terrorist Nuke, which depicts an explosion near two tall skyscrapers that resemble the Twin Towers. The other card, Pentagon, shows the Pentagon on fire. These cards are often presented as evidence that the game's creators had foreknowledge of the attacks, although there is no concrete evidence to support this.
Well, as you said, the towers had already been attacked.
Yes.
Before. The Pentagon, you'd think, would be a target.
Definitely.
So, I don't know, I feel like that one's not that strong. Right?
Well, the Illuminati card game predicts loads of things.
Yeah.
So, and it's almost, and I remember trying to get it on eBay, like it's
Can you not?
thousands. No, it's really expensive because it was a limited edition print.
Would you play the Illuminati card game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
If it's easy to play.
Yeah.
If it's not, no, then I won't.
Got it.
Have you got it?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And
So
you
should
didn't
have
bring it
brought that
in?
George. What's interesting about this is because I always think that most people didn't know about the Illuminati until the Da Vinci Code. And maybe that's just me. That was my particular cultural moment of it coming to prominence. But I don't ever remember anyone talking about the Illuminati widespread in popular culture.
I'd heard of
that.
it a lot.
Had you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Freemasons as well. Is that kind of the
Freemasons?
same
Yeah.
thing?
Freemasons.
Right?
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
That represents the same thing when people talk about Freemasons. Is that also the same as the Illuminati?
Well,
It feels like it.
Not quite, but it's secret in terms of it's a covert organization. But the Freemasons is a thing, though, isn't it? The Freemasons actually exist, whereas the Illuminati doesn't officially exist.
Right. But there's arguments over how evil Freemasons are.
Yes.
That is the idea.
That is
and
true.
I mean, the pyramid in the eye, that is so freaky.
That is freaky.
The Eye of Providence.
It's
on the
so
dollar bill.
Scary.
You've met Freemasons, haven't you?
Yeah. Because it's London. There's loads of Freemasons.
Yeah.
You've been to the museum.
Yeah. I remember getting so excited when I was younger, learning all about this stuff, and I know all this stuff about the Freemasons, and now I kind of don't care anymore. It's just a man's club.
You think you've been desensitized?
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Every Freemason I met was a nice person, and was smart and had joined it for the sense of community or brotherhood and whatever. They weren't particularly sinister. They do an awful lot of charity work. You know, there are worse things. You know, if there were a Tory, I'd be more worried about them.
Yeah. Well, they're more dangerous. So, Super Mario Brothers in 1993.
Very good film.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I freaking love it.
I love it. I remember going to the cinema to see it, and it is a terrible film, but also
I love it. Though.
brilliant at the same time.
Terrible film.
It's nothing like Mario.
No, nothing at all. No.
No, it's about lizard people, and
They've just done what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely mad, isn't
It's completely bonkers film. It doesn't make any sense. The representation of the characters is
The
totally off.
Goombas are
Yeah.
the big things with the little head.
The little
Yeah.
heads, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I quite like them as characters, but they're in
Yeah,
no
but
way
they're not.
accurate. No,
Yeah.
no. And people forget how big This is 1993, so Mario is big now, but that was Mario at the absolute height of Mario fame. Because
Crazy that they let that happen, isn't it?
yeah,
Bob Hoskins was good casting, I thought, but
Yeah.
it's a terrible film. But I really love it because it was at the time there was little else like that.
we should point out why we're talking about it. So in the film
It's a
Super
great
Mario
film.
Brothers, some conspiracy theorists highlight a scene in which the Twin Towers appear damaged in a way that some believe resembles their destruction during 9/11. The relevance of this visual has been widely debated.
Don't they get like zapped?
Yeah, they get zapped.
Yeah.
And
But
they
that's
said-
not what happened.
No, it's not what happens. No, they kind of like disintegrate, but in a kind of they don't fall to the ground as such. They just sort of disappear, if you like. I mean, it's a split-second thing, but again, I think at the same time that the city's being attacked, isn't it? And that's the point of it.
And it's all split-second thing, you know. It's all like just for a moment. You have to freeze frame, you know, and like Caution 9/11, you know, in Terminator 2, you know, the other great sci-fi movie from my youth, you know, the T-1000 has grabbed John Connor, and they're flying through the waterways, and you see him go under a bridge, and it says Caution 9/11, and then the truck crashes into it. You know, it's like, why was it Caution 9/11?
So many references.
Yes, it's everywhere, man. It's everywhere.
Okay, so Prince, which I'm glad that you sent me today because I did not know about this one. Were you aware of this one?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you might be. And I'm a Prince fan, so I'm surprised I didn't know about this one. But anyway, so basically the theory that Prince, the iconic musician, predicted 9/11 stems from a few of his lyrics and statements made in the years before September 11, 2001. The theory mainly originates from two key instances. Prince's 1998 concert in the Netherlands. One of the central pieces of evidence for this theory is a statement Prince made during a live performance in 1998. During a concert in the Netherlands, he reportedly said the following line while performing his song 1999. I got back to America. I got to get ready for the bomb. Osama bin Laden, get ready to bomb America. You better watch out. 2001.
Now, I think it's debunkable, I'm afraid.
Oh, why?
Go for it.
So I saw a guy who's obsessed with the evil of the music industry doing a talk about this and pointing out that the 2001 at the end is a really big deal. Now, okay, there's a couple of things. Firstly, around the time, because I've read about it, bin Laden was talked about. He didn't come out of nowhere because I think he'd attacked some American embassies, a couple around the world, I'm not sure where. So that was kind of on the news that he could attack the US. And I think Bill Clinton was also like trying to get him at the time and failed. So he's talking about that, right? Osama bin Laden's getting ready to bomb. The bit where I think someone in his band shouts out 2001, watch out. I've heard two recordings. I've heard one where that isn't said.
Yeah.
A longer version. It's just audio though. Both are just audio.
Yes.
People claim there was a video which you can't find now.
Well, because you're right, because the video is grainy footage of him, which
Yeah.
may or may not be at that particular concert with audio over the top, but it's not necessarily the audio from that. In fact, it's very unlikely to be that audio, right?
I don't think the 2001 bit gets said.
Right.
I think that's added in.
Okay.
And I think he's just saying what was on the news at the time and having a laugh and saying he's got to end the show and go back to America because bin Laden's going to attack, jokingly. Yeah, I think that's it. But it's a good one.
It is a really good one.
I think someone has cheekily added in the 2001, watch out.
Yeah, and I think, again, when you've got a character that is politically engaged, it does occasionally make statements.
Made me laugh though, that one.
Yeah.
When I first heard him singing that, it was funny, man.
It's weird, but it's also like, I guess of any song it's going to be in, I can see why they suggested it was 1999, right? Because he's kind of talking about it, suggesting that it's got a double meaning, that maybe it's about the end of times, that we're partying because at the end of the world or something like that.
Well, the 2000 parties over, it's out of time.
Yeah.
Like so we're going to party like it's 1999. So the 2001 for things to fall apart, that's right on schedule according to Prince.
Yep. So the statement made 3 years before the 9/11 attacks caught the attention of prominent conspiracy theorists after the event of 2001, and they interpreted it as a direct reference to Osama bin Laden, the terrorist mastermind behind the attacks, and the year 2001. However, there are no official recordings or transcripts that fully verify this quote, as you said, and some accounts suggest the wording of this statement may not have been exact. The lyrics of 1999, another part of the theory, involves Prince's hit song, which was released in 1982. While the song is not specifically about terrorism or world events, some conspiracy theories claim that its apocalyptic tone and references to partying as if the world were about to end could be seen as a prediction of future catastrophic events like 9/11. So key lyrics include, but when I woke up this morning, could have sworn it was Judgment Day. Everybody's got a bomb. We could all die any day.
But also he didn't bomb when he said bin Laden's getting ready to bomb, it wasn't a bomb. If he said bin Laden's getting ready with his planes or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Bit wordy though, isn't it? Bit wordy lyric.
That's true. Yeah, it's not as good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think? You think he knew it was happening?
Prince knew.
Yeah? Do you think he was taken out?
Was Prince killed because he said too much? Yeah.
Yeah.
But not just by 9/11.
Right.
Like he predicted his own death.
I mean, I have to say, if anyone is in the Illuminati, Prince was.
Yeah.
Surely.
But Prince did that. He became the symbol and everything. He fought to have the music industry that we have now. Chapel Rowan is making money, in the year of our Lord Chapel Rowan, she's making money because it's all hers, whereas he was slave to a record label. And you got to own the means of production.
Slave to the rhythm.
He was brilliant. He was brilliant. I love Prince.
Fan of Prince?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a live version of one of his songs called Get Off.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, it gives me life. It's just an amazing track.
It's a great track.
Oh my goodness. But it's the live version. It's like, whoa. He's just amazing. I love Prince, and I hate that he's gone.
Okay.
No.
Do we think that with all of these theories that it's still an easy target for any creative to, when you're thinking about a terrorist attack or you're thinking about a bombing of anything, right? And like we said, there's been previous attempts on this building, that of all the iconic landmarks in the world, this is definitely one that people, if you were writing fiction or you're writing whatever, a poem or a piece of music or something, it's one you probably would single out as going, that might be something that someone will do something to at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the 70s version of King Kong, it's not the Empire State Building, it's the Twin Towers that he gets killed on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love the 70s version
He
of
doesn't
King Kong.
destroy him, does he?
Yeah, it's the one with Jessica Lange, and she won't admit that she's in it. One of the most romantic scenes in any movie ever is Jessica Lange's character has a bath. Kong lifts her out, so he's on her hand, and they have a shot of her sitting on this big hand, and Kong blow dries her, and it's like, how much cocaine were these people doing to write that scene? It's amazing. But Kong dies on the World Trade Tower.
Sad, isn't it, when he dies?
Yeah, it is.
Out of order.
Yeah.
I cry my eyes out.
He's the real victim.
Absolutely. No, I'm all for Kong. He should kill more people.
Okay. There's one more which is accurate. I mean, there's a lot more, but this is the one that is the most accurate of all of them. Bill Cooper. You know this guy?
No.
Okay. So Bill Cooper was a former US Navy intelligence officer who became a prominent figure in the conspiracy theory community in the 1990s. Cooper's radio show, The Hour of the Time, where he was most famously predicted what some claim were the 9/11 attacks. The theory that Cooper predicted 9/11 centers on a broadcast he made on June 28, 2001, on The Hour of the Time, just over 2 months before the attacks on September 11th. During his broadcast, Cooper warned his audience about the possibility of an imminent attack that would be blamed on Osama bin Laden. Specifically, he claimed the US government was preparing a major false flag operation that would be used as an excuse to increase control over the population and justify military action in the Middle East. So, he also specifically names Osama bin Laden in this, and that's the key part of this that is weird. So Cooper
What year was that? Sorry.
So this is 2001. This is on June the 28th, 2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like just on the cusp of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the lone gunman, that the pilot episode was March 2001. Like it was right.
Yeah,
there,
it was, but that would have been written quite a long time, probably a year or so
Yeah,
before.
there was about a
guess.
year. Say even if it was 9 months production, that's still a long time.
Yeah, exactly. But this is actually broadcasting this message in the same year, just a few months before.
Yeah.
It is weirdly accurate. Cooper stated the US government was planning to carry out an attack on American soil and would blame it on Osama bin Laden, whom he described as a bogeyman, being used to frighten the public. He expressed skepticism about the government portrayal of bin Laden as a significant threat and suggested that the powers that be were setting him up as a scapegoat for a planned event. Cooper said, "They are going to blame it on Osama bin Laden. Don't you even believe it?"
That's one of the best ones, right?
It is one of the best ones. Yeah. So do we think he's more accurate or Prince?
Oh, I'm
He
going to
is.
side
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Prince.
You're going to start with Prince?
Oh yeah, because like I love
it's a song.
Prince.
Yeah. Or the Rugrats?
Well, I'm not messing with the Rugrats.
No.
Or Back to the Future, or The Matrix, or Terminator 2, or
Mario.
The Patriot, or Mario, or Escape from New York, or
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. And also Die Hard. If you look at the original poster for Die
I've
Hard,
seen
Nagatoro, it's the top of a tower blowing up.
Yeah.
That's predictive as well.
Okay.
You know.
So, while the idea that 9/11 was predicted is compelling for some, most of the so-called predictions are seen as coincident or as a result of retrospective interpretation. Psychologists often point to the confirmation bias where people look for evidence that confirms their pre-existing beliefs as a major factor for these theories. Official investigations and rational analysis have found no concrete evidence of foreknowledge among the media, government, or other organizations tied to these events. So, Bilal,
Yeah.
was 9/11 predicted?
The thing is, it's like, I do. There's things that have happened before. I should say no publicly.
Yeah.
No. But it is one, like, I definitely could get on board with a lot of these theories
Yeah.
when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a lot of coincidences, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of these, you feel like they're coincidences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think a lot of them aren't that strong. Like the Prince one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think someone's edited
I
the audio.
kind of feel the same.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Yeah. Also, even if that is the actual audio, it's not clear enough and it could be interpreted as a number of things. And it's, and I just think somebody could have cleaned it up, but also tweaked it a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, as much as I would love that to be true, I don't feel like it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I thought you might do.
Because I've watched hours and hours of this footage of going, oh my god. Because what I do want to say, what I do want to say is how it's all been scrubbed from online.
Yeah.
Like because this used to be somewhere that I go on, I would see this, 9/11 this, 9/11 that, and it's all gone.
Where would you? Do you mean on YouTube?
On YouTube, but also online. Like if you Google, was 9/11 predicted, it comes up with the Nostradamus stuff, and that wasn't what 9/11 prediction was.
Yeah.
It was Thomas Anderson in the Matrix having a passport that said, September the 11th, 2001. It was Caution 9/11 and Terminator 2. It was all those things, and that's all gone.
If you want the truth, watch Back to the Future. That's what we're trying to say.
Absolutely.
Or the
Absolutely.
Rugrats movie.
Or The Long Kiss Goodnight,
Yeah.
which is a great film.
Bilal, would you like to look at this camera and tell people where they can find you, where they can follow you, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. Zafar Cakes, ZAFAR Cakes is my handle. Yep. On all my stuff. I stream on Twitch, post on social media, do live comedy and stuff. So,
Cake shop as well,
Cake shop.
Yeah.
There's I have a special on YouTube for free.
which is excellent, by the way. I watched it on the weekend. It's well worth checking out.
Yeah, that's all the stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's been you've been
so much fun.
fascinating, and thank you for bringing your Prince conspiracy theory, because it is one of the best ones. Genuinely,
It's good fun. Isn't
It is good fun. Would you like a Nostradamus joke to end the podcast? Because I didn't feel it was inappropriate to do a 9/11 joke.
No, I think that's correct.
Okay. When Nostradamus was a child, what did his mum say when he asked her what was for dinner? Like you don't know, you little prick.
It's very good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. That's the end of the podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Please like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. The more lovely subscribers we get, the more episodes we'll make. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok for regular updates and exclusive videos at Believe Conspiracy Pod. We love you. Bye.